Friends all, a warm welcome to all of our young people from across the globe and across time zones who have registered to participate in this UNCTAD 15 Youth Forum. I truly wish I could have been meeting with you in person. Your partners in youth development here in Barbados also wish they could have had the pleasure of showing you around our country and brainstorming together to advance shared visions and plans for the future. But I'm somewhat comforted by the fact that you represent a generation who are masters of the digital universe and experts in the art of networking virtually. And I have every confidence that you will make it work and work splendidly. Indeed, I'm sure that you will use the technology to great advantage to expand the forum's reach to many more of your contemporaries across the world. I want to begin by thanking Roshana and her Caribbean committee, as well as the representatives of Global Youth for all of the work that they have done to plan this forum. We know it has not been an easy road with the delays, but we are here. Special thanks also to the team at the Secretariat in Geneva who have supported their efforts. I want to tell you that one of the most enjoyable parts of my job is when I get a chance to interact directly with young people, whether I meet them in Barbados, in the diaspora, across our campuses and colleges abroad, wherever. I just love the contagious energy, the ideas, the can-do spirit. I'm encouraged by the depth of research and the preparation you bring to the issues that you feel passionately about and that you advocate for. I find it so refreshing to be among enthusiastic young activists of today and the potential leaders, my friends, of tomorrow. For you are not the jaded products of the status quo, but you are change agents who dare to do things differently. So please do not let the harsh realities of today ever make you doubt this. Keep that passion and that enthusiasm alive even as you grow in experience and in years. And I know the temptation is there, particularly since the COVID-19 pandemic has enveloped our entire world and has literally made it impossible for you to normally do the things that you would love to do and go the places that you would love to go. Why do I remember this so much? Because at 22 years old when I joined this political party, at 25 when I first entered active politics, at 28 when I first held my cabinet portfolio as Minister of Education, Youth Affairs and Culture, these things are still very much ever present in my mind and have had a lasting impression on me and the kind of career that I've had in public life. I was as eager then as you are now to make a real difference. I remain that way. But you have one important tool that was not available to my generation, the power of smart technology, which helps to spread ideas, to coordinate, to agitate, to educate, and to build movements for change. And I say so because I was 15 years old before I saw the first video machine, VCR. I was in 1991 in an election where we used walkie-talkies and where just a few people had cellular phones that looked like phone booths. So I have always been that bridge as the youngest then, and now one who is not necessarily old, I say, but whose memory remains passionate. I speak often about the need for us to empower our young people to become global citizens with Barbadian roots. I believe that that has to be the goal of all of today's leaders, to nurture a generation rooted in the culture and values of their nation, yet confidently global in their thinking and their outlook. That is my fervent aspiration, my friends, for all of our young people. Our world needs it now more than ever. That commitment to the global realities that must reflect the best of who we are, the humanizing influence that will cause us not to have the kind of schisms and separations that have literally caused too many people either to die or to be literally sealed into deprivation and poverty and lack of opportunity. We want a different world, and we want a world where that consciousness and where principles matter, not only when it is convenient, but more importantly, when it is inconvenient, for that is when you determine that you have made that defining difference to change the world into which you were born. Today, you come under the theme, pull up, change the rhythm, a concept that derives from the words of our very own Rihanna, Barbados' foremost youth ambassador, global youth ambassador. Times are difficult, as I said, for all of us, but they're especially so, I believe, for you young people. And at this precise moment when you should be looking forward with optimism to the most productive years of our life, these current global circumstances may leave some of you fearful and some of you wondering about your job prospects or your mental health or your physical health or simply your economic survival. I say to you, do not be dismayed, for it is your resilience and your hope and your passion that will help bring us out of these moments and help us to rise beyond this point in time, just as our grandparents and great-grandparents a century ago literally meandered their way through hardship from 1914 to 18 World War I, 1918 to 20 the Spanish flu, and then of course the Great Depression in the late 1920s, leading of course then to fascism and populism in the 1930s and riots in our own region, and then of course the Great Second World War from 1939 to 1945. A young person born in 1900 from a teenager would have known adversity and had simply to stay focused, knowing full well that at some point they would be able to make a defining contribution to themselves, their family, and their world if given that chance in a world that started to rest. Why do I compare it to a century ago? Because it is the same resilience, even if the geography is different, even if the times are different, even if the circumstances are different. It is the resilience and that capacity to think positive that will make the difference. This unique moment in time tells us all to pause and to reset, to pull up, to change the rhythm. It may be hard to appreciate, but I say to you, my friends, there has never been a better opportunity for you to step up and to be that change. We should not want to build back better. We should always want to build forward differently in a way that is more equitable and capable of providing greater opportunities and greater protection for those most vulnerable, and indeed the nurturing of our environment within which we live, which is now proven to be the very thing that is causing us the greatest concern for the survival of the human race. The great disruption that we have seen between the climate crisis and the pandemic has opened doors for transformative action. And you already have come to this moment in time with a conscience that I feel is stronger than the previous generations in recent times. It is you young people who must take up this baton. I believe always it is a relay race. For in the words of the Talmud, we are not expected to complete the race, but neither are we at liberty to resile from it. I ask you as you brainstorm and network over the next 3 days to think about a few key things. What will you contribute to creating the change that you want to see? Mahatma Gandhi told us, be the change that we want to see. What will you contribute? You seek youth empowerment for developmental transformation, but how do you see this being achieved? You want a seat at the negotiating table and for your voices to be heard and your voices to contend? I agree. And if necessary, sometimes when they don't invite you, bring your folding chair, as Shirley Chisholm would say. But what will you give to the world in return when you come to that table? Does your generation accept and understand the notion of personal responsibility, and that rights without responsibility is an empty promise and does not allow us to move forward in any meaningful or sustainable way, for the two must balance each other? And do you appreciate and cherish the investment that has been made by previous generations and the current generations in you? And now, as a result of that, what does this mean for you? And what does this require you to do? Are you too prepared to pay forward to the next generation that is coming? I want you to think deeply on where we are today and what are our greatest threats and how you will act together in common cause to prevent these threats from continuing to endanger our world, a world that you must live in, a world that you want to see differently. What will affect you in 2050 when you reach the age that I am now? And what will you have done to safeguard against future catastrophes like the pandemic we are facing now? Or more importantly, the one that I am working every day with others to try and avert. That is the slow motion pandemic, the one with antimicrobial resistance literally causing us to reverse a century of medical progress if we do not get on top of it? Will you think and act like global citizens? Will you step up and use the power that technology provides to become activists in shaping the future of national and international governance? You know what? I have faith that you will do so. And I ask these questions today not to lecture to you, but to leave with you a moment in time which I hope that you'll forever remember. That we, on this day, have spoken to you in this decade of this century to say to you that it is up to you to help make this world a better place. It sounds trite, it sounds as though others have heard it before, but never before has it had so much meaning with the existential threats that face us today. I close, my friends, with a simple phrase that has become a mantra of mine. One that, in fact, defined my ability to make the distance when the challenges were greatest. One that I adhered to that led to some of my greatest falls, but ultimately the greatest resolution in me to rise above those challenges that befell me. And what is that phrase? Dare to dream, but always be determined to do. If you do that, and you remember always to care about others, living by the golden rule, doing unto others as you would have them do unto you, then that marriage of that principle that has been taught to us from little children, with that commitment and passion to dream, but recognizing that dreaming alone, like faith without works, means nothing. I say to you, I want to see you in Barbados. This is a virtual Barbados today, but next time, my friends, come for real and see us and hug us and touch so that we can make sure that this is not just a one-sided virtual reality, but this is a place where we can truly become one family, one global family, seeking to make this world a better place for those children who are yet unborn. Thank you and good luck.